11. Everest. Make me to be thy happy mountaineer, O God most high. My climbing soul would welcome the austere. Lord, crucify. On rock or scree, ice cliff or field of snow, the softness that would sink to things below. Thou art my guide, where thy sure feet have trod shall mine be set. Thy lightest word, my law of life, O God, lest I forget, and slip and fall, teach me to do thy will, thy mountaineer, upon thy holy hill. It seemeth them also that they stand in their good peace, when all things fall after their will and their feeling. And if it fall otherwise than they desire, they are soon moved and sorry. Oft times it is need of spirit, whereof the wretched body so lightly complaineth. All Christ's life was a cross and a martyrdom, and thou seekest to thyself rest and joy, the imitation. A new Everest expedition, so the weekly Times of September 8. I have been reading Sir Francis Younghusband. He asks and answers the stock question, who will be 1 ounce the better for it? This is part of his answer. And not only for mountaineering will the standard be raised, but for other fields of human activity as well. Many who have never been near a mountain have been thrilled by descriptions of the climber's efforts to reach the summit, and have been spurred on by them to higher achievement in their own. So much has been proved by actual cases, just as surely as any experiment in a laboratory. Everest has become a symbol. Everest stands for all that is highest, purest, and most difficult of attainment. As the climbers struggle, gasping towards the summit, they will be putting heart into all who are striving upward in whatever field. This knowledge will do most to put heart into themselves. So, in the words of Somervell, written on the day after his splendid failure, the fight is worth it every time. This carries me back to Nayor and the days and nights when I lay reading the Everest books, not for the first time, and especially when one day Dr. Somervell, the climber who spoke those valiant words about the splendid failure, made the pictures in those books live, as only one could who had been inside them himself, and incidentally drawn and painted some of them. That story challenged me then, and it does again. True valor lies not in what the world calls success, but in the dogged going on when everything in the man says stop. That is the undernote of those books, the refusal of softness. That is what gripped me in the story. Let us face it now. Which is harder, to be well and doing things, or to be ill and bearing things? It was a long time before I saw the comfort that is in that question. Here we may find our opportunity to crucify that cowardly thing, the softness that would sink to things below, self-pity, dullness, selfishness, ungrateful gloom. On the morning when the climbers of the second expedition were at their highest camp, there was a question about going farther. The night before, Dr. Somervell, who, like all the others, was worn by tremendous toils, had read in his pocket testament from Colossians, "If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above." In the translation he was using, the words ran thus, "Aim at what is above." They were in his mind now as he looked at that summit, so near but so far, and he and his companion decided to go on climbing. They had to take 5 breaths to every step, 5 in and 5 out, but that day those 2 men got higher than man had ever gone before without oxygen, for it was the day of the splendid failure. This little incident, unrecorded, of course, in any of the books written about that famous climb, though it seems to me to express all such endeavor in a single luminous phrase, came out by accident one day in talk. I was asking Dr. Somervell about that last day's struggle uphill, and he told me about his little pocket testament and its word to him. I was well then, and never expected to be anything else, having, as I have told, earnestly asked of the Lord a quick going on when the time came, with no loitering by the way. But the word of that story was for another day. Often during these months it has come and spoken to me. It has shamed slackness and cowardice. It has set me climbing again.